Welcome to episode 3 of the Vyral Marketing Show. Today you're going to learn how to maximize your return on investment with the Vyral Marketing Program, as well as I'm going to show you an incredible, simple landing page example that you can use that's fast and easy to set up to help you generate more leads. So welcome back to episode 3 of the Vyral Marketing Show, where our mission is to help business owners, entrepreneurs, professionals, and most importantly, our clients, those of you who are watching this, to how to get more business and grow your business by publishing educational videos, podcasts, content, whatever it may be.
Yep.
We're biased here at Vyral for video because that helps how people get to know you, right? But any type of educational content, so you tend to attract more business as opposed to chasing it, which becomes very painful if you're trying to talk to people who don't know who you are. So we challenge all of our viewers and all of our clients, obviously, to get on camera and start publishing educational content, which is the easiest way to get started is with Q&A videos, which is essentially what we do on the show. But Scott, you just got back from a long trip.
Yeah, long trip. I was on the road for like 10 days, and you all met my stand-in, Andrew, last week.
Your cousin.
Yeah. So if you see him around in events and looks like me, it's not really me, but it kind of is.
Yeah, if you go back to episode 2 and look at Scott, they're totally cousins. So Scott was up in Maine, then you went down to Orlando, and then you were in Tempe. And I recently just got back from Cancun for our mastermind.
Yeah, so we were on the road making some things happen. Yeah.
So one of the cool things for those of you who are watching is we become a Vyral Marketing client. It's not just about getting the results and the ROI of the program, but when you're a client, you're really a part of something who wants to grow and wants to get yourself on video. That's a very unique person that actually starts with us. And we love to bring you together 2, 3, 4 times a year. We're growing it to share ideas. And in this case, we have a lot of real estate professionals that are clients of our firm. And I just came back from about an incredible mastermind in Cancun for 2 days, and we shared some great stuff.
Yeah, It sounded like it was a really good time. I'm sorry I missed it.
Yep.
But
So let's go ahead and go to our first question. Who do we have?
So Frank, how do I maximize my ROI in working with the Vyral Marketing Plan?
All right, Susan, wonderful question. How do you maximize your ROI, which stands for return on investment?
Yeah.
From Vyral Marketing. So I think we should just start very quickly is, what exactly is Vyral Marketing for anyone watching this show? It's our firm. It's what we do for our income and for our living. Our show is our passion. We really enjoy doing this.
Yeah.
But essentially, we interview you on a webcam. To keep it simple, and you answer a couple educational, you create a couple educational videos every single month by answering a customer question, and then we edit them and we optimize them and we promote them to the #1 asset any business owner has, which is
their relationships, the people that their database, right? The relationships they have with their database.
Correct. Yeah. So if you want to start creating content, what's the method that you go about it? And we recommend you first read the official video marketing plan that we have on our website. It's right on our homepage. Download that, read that, and that will go through everything we cover here today. And on top of that, Susan, you're in real estate. She's a real estate professional, great real estate professional. And I actually did a webinar with Haas Pratt, who's a real estate coach, great real estate coach. If you go to our website and you click the real estate industry, there's a whole 1-hour webinar that will go more in depth, really in depth, to the outline that we're going to give today to how to maximize ROI.
It's a really great hour explanation. Like, it's one of the best explanations I've seen you do about our
I'm very proud of that one.
Yeah, our marketing plan and how it works and how to get results. So it's a really good watch. It's worth the time.
So I got the 6 things here. So Susan, here's what we got to do. First, you have to have the right mindset. Okay?
Are you in the right mindset right now, Frank?
I am in the right mindset.
All right.
So the right mindset first is when you start publishing content. You don't want to create content that says, an example of real estate, hey, do you want to buy or sell a home? Do you want to work with me? Who do you know I should be working with? All that sales language.
It's very salesy if you do that.
You don't want to tell people. It's actually even better, just people don't even know the fact that you're a real estate agent. People will figure it out.
Yeah.
Your job is to educate and to advise. The definition of a client is someone who's under the protection of another.
Right.
So you want to protect your clients by advising them on the right course of action with whatever it is they're doing. In your case, that would be real estate, Susan. So you do that by answering questions that are commonly asked from your current customers in your market. So if you take that mindset that you're helping, and the more you help, the more you're going to receive, the more that you give, the more that you're going to receive, the more that you protect someone and advise someone, the better off that you're going to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's really the first thing, because I would say a lot of times you see these videos coming across where they're very sales oriented. Right. And that's okay to send out from time to time.
Yeah, but that's more of
very rarely.
And a video that you want sitting maybe on a site or a website or a blog where they can learn about you once they go there. But as far as what you're sending out, really the Q&A is.
So here's the standard I would use, Susan, is never send out a piece of content unless someone would be willing to pay for it. So if you look at your video, you would ask yourself, would someone pay money to receive this video and to watch it?
Yeah.
And if it hits that standard, you have the right content.
And here's the deal, the webcams are fantastic. It's the content that you're doing in front of the webcam that's key. So you got to really make sure that you're answering a question that's going to fulfill that need for your clients.
And we'll talk about that. So number 2, Susan, is you have to pick a target market. So what I find a lot with our clients in the Vyral plan is that they're all over the place, grabbing every single email address and everyone they could possibly talk to all over the place and adding them to the database. So that's not a bad strategy. At least you're adding people to your database.
Yeah.
But
it can work. You never know.
It can. But what's really key is picking a target market. And for someone who's in real estate, that generally means, at least what I would do, is I would find which areas of town have the highest turnover, meaning of every 100 homes, how many likely sell every year.
Yeah.
Because that would give me the most likelihood of actually being able to get a listing.
Right.
And I would also cross-reference that or match that with the highest price point to get the highest commission.
Absolutely.
So where does turnover and commission meet? That's the area that I would focus on. And hopefully that's an area you'd like to focus on. Otherwise, you're down to just maybe who you want to work with.
Yeah.
So you stay focused on homeowners. So the idea here is you want to give and educate homeowners in a specific area that hopefully will have a high propensity to sell their home.
Yeah, and I think on top of that too, to add to that would be, of course, the people that you have the best relationships with already may turn into those homeowners that are in those areas anyway.
That goes to my second point. So after you figure out who your target market is, now the question is who could possibly refer you into that target market?
Right.
And that's going to be reconnecting with your existing database. Yeah. So this is really what's cool. And this is something that's so inexpensive for anyone watching this to do, especially if you're in an industry, in your case, Susan, in real estate, where there's lots of people that are interested in real estate. It's a very wide interest topic.
Well, people want to own homes. They want to
know what's going on.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So you could take all the connections. You can export all your LinkedIn contacts directly. You can export all the contacts from your Gmail contacts. You can export everyone from your contact management system, whatever you're using, even the people in your cell phone. You can take all those emails, load them up into the email program, and we don't want to spam them by just throwing them on your videos, but we recommend a very simple reconnect message to basically say, hey, this is Susan. I want to reconnect with you. I apologize for not staying in touch about what's going on with real estate. I want to educate you. Feel free to unsubscribe. If you have any questions, let me know. Look forward to my videos.
Right.
Something like that. And I go into more in depth of that language and that reconnect message in that webinar with Haas on the real estate page on our website. So we're going to keep moving here. So we have to reconnect with the whole database because those people might be able to refer you into your target market.
Absolutely. And they just want to hear from you.
Or they may actually want to use you too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Almost done. Maximizing ROI. When you're speaking to somebody, ideally in your target market, because that's where you focus your times.
Yes.
I keep going back to target market. This is a key marketing concept.
Right.
When you speak with somebody, you ask at the end of the conversation, Scott,
Frank,
it was great to visit with you today. I want to keep you updated on what's going on in real estate. What's your best email address? I want to send you some helpful videos I publish from time to time.
Well, I will give you my email address. And thank you. It was wonderful speaking with you as well. I appreciate you wanting to stay in touch with me. My email is blah, blah, blah. Right.
And it goes just like that.
Yeah.
When you're on the phone, you're having a conversation, you will become basically a human opt-in form of collecting permission to stay in touch. We don't have to buy it on Facebook. We don't have to buy it online. People that register online aren't the best. It's a real conversation with somebody, again, ideally in your target market that you ask for an email to stay in touch with.
And it's amazing how it works so much better as well once you start sending the valuable content, the videos, and adding value and educating, how much easier it is to get the email when you ask to stay in touch with people because they may have been seeing you. And you're putting yourself out there.
So far, I know we have a long answer to this one, but this is what we do.
Yeah.
You have the right mindset.
This is the foundation, right?
You have the right mindset. You pick a target market. That's usually what's usually missed so much.
Yeah.
Pick a target market, reconnect with your entire database that you have already. Make sure you're committed to asking for emails, ideally from the right people. We say everyone, but focus on that target market. And then lastly, just publish 2 helpful Q&A videos a month answering customer questions. And then finally, like we spoke on the last episode, we talked about prioritizing your follow-up and calling and reaching out to the people that watch the videos, which you can track.
Yes.
You can check out episode 2 for that, to spark conversations because those people know who you are. And what's always interesting to me in any sales industry is why not call the people who know who you are as opposed to people who don't know who you are,
Right.
right? And we find so many times you're calling people who don't know who you are. Susan, I challenge you to call the people who know who you are, the people watching your videos. So let's grow that database. Let's reconnect with people. Let's create videos engaging. And I want you to prioritize your follow-up with the people watching the videos. And that more on that is on episode 2.
Yeah, and that goes back to mindset, and we could dive deep into why people call the cold leads instead of the ones in the database. But
go back and watch the webinar with Hotspot on how to get more commissions from your database. So with that, I do want to say, Susan, thank you for your question. $25 gift card coming your way.
Where's it going to be?
Well, I don't know which gift card it's going to be yet. We're going to have to pick one. So normally I was going to grab a whole bunch of them at like Target, and then we would just like do a drawing and like whatever one you get.
Yeah.
So it could be like iTunes, Cheesecake Factory, some crazy brand, Chili's.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Thank you so much.
go get something, Susan.
Yep. If you too have a question, feel free to hashtag Vyral Marketing Show, mention us Vyral Marketing Show, ask it, submit a video, and if we answer on the show, you too will get a $25 gift card. That'll help get some interaction, get the show rocking, because we want to help a lot of people and get a lot of people to see it. All right, so now I want to give you a great marketing tip on how to create a very simple landing page for lead generation. Now, I have been doing internet marketing for 10 years, and I can't even imagine the time I've wasted, the time I've spent, starting with these templates or designing a web page from scratch, or all the different design elements that you can go into an actual page. It's absolutely exhausting.
I can't even imagine what it was like 10 years ago.
And it can be completely overwhelming when you look at all the different layouts for a landing page. And everyone has their opinion on like where it's supposed to go, or it goes above the fold or below the fold, whatever. The point is, for us and for clients, for you, I had to come up with a methodology to create a great page that converts when people opt in, that was simple and fast, that got the result that didn't cost us or the client or anyone else a fortune.
Yeah.
And I think I have nailed that, and I want to share it with you here today. So one of my influences, and I highly recommend you check him out, is Gary Halbert. He is a fantastic copywriter. If you actually go to his website, he used to publish, I believe, a monthly letter to his subscribers, and he passed. And his son put all the letters up on the website for free. And the letters are incredible. I've read every single one of them, and it's given me a lot of insight on how to become a great marketer. But I remember I was reading one letter, and it really stuck with me.
Yeah, I remember
and
that
basically he said, there's all these different options for marketing. You can get really overwhelming. But if someone held a gun to your head and said, you have to get results with this marketing piece, or boom, what would you do? Now.
I don't know.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, leads.
So I put that, I thought about that. And honestly, the answer is a personal letter.
Yeah.
The answer is a personal letter. And in his time, it was just, a letter. It would be a handwritten letter,
right,
with a stamp, with just a personal message in there that had good rules of copywriting, good rules of persuasion, with some type of call to action and reason to take action now. And that's always the principle that I like to use in a lot of the marketing that we do. So I want to show you a landing page that we've used here at Vyral that we set up very quickly under that principle. That's getting about a 35% conversion rate, meaning, 1 in 3, a little over 1 in 3 people,
a little over 1 in 3
which is really good.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to take a look at this here. This is Unbounce. It's a great landing page builder. Let me actually show you an example of Unbounce. So if you ever need to build landing pages, Unbounce is my preferred way of going. I really enjoy it. It's great. But as you can see here, over time, we've gotten 7,900 visitors to this, and 2,700 people have entered their information at roughly a 35% conversion rate.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Which is fantastic. So you're probably wondering, my goodness, that must be the most complicated, crazy, landing page ever, and how much money was spent on the design of that. And I can tell you, I did it in about 30 minutes.
Right.
So let's actually show the landing page, and here it is. Boom. Okay. So dead simple. And I want to go over today with you some of the key parts of this page so you too can swipe and deploy this in your business.
Yeah.
Or if ever a landing page needs to be designed here at Vyral Marketing, our guys know how to actually do this very quickly. So let's go over this really quick. So the first thing is at the very top, we just take the blue, or in our case, our brand blue, just the brand color of your company.
Right.
With your logo. Mm-hmm. Any questions on that, Scott?
No, fairly simple, Frank.
Can you do that?
I can do that. I think I can figure that one out.
Good. All right. At the very top, we have what's called the pre-headline. I always call this the offer. And this is as clearly as possible. What are they going to get when they give up their contact information? What's the ethical bribe?
Right.
So what are you going to get
offer.
in return for your contact information? Right at the very top. All right. And now we have the most important part of the whole landing page, which is the headline. And the key with this headline, and any headline, is it has to show pain avoidance
Yes.
of avoiding a pain, as well as the benefits, what's going to happen when that pain is avoided. So in direct response marketing, when you're asking for contact information in exchange for an item of value, you have to bring the pain. Someone's in pain to solve.
You gotta bring the pain.
So I want you to think about that. So in this case, for those of you watching the show, our clients of our firm, there's pain of neglecting your database. You haven't been staying in touch with it. You haven't been communicating. You haven't been protecting. You haven't been staying in touch with all these people that will do business with you, and you probably feel pretty bad about that.
Yeah, and you're losing business.
So I really chose the word neglected.
Yeah, it's a good word.
That was the word that I went with. It was a pretty strong word. But basically it says how to reconnect with your neglected contact database, there's the pain, to increase sales with video and social media.
Yeah.
So we have the benefit.
Right.
I underlined the benefit.
Right.
I brought the pain, usually like an emotional word.
Yeah.
And I used the headline for me of how to. And when in doubt, a how-to headline is the way to go. You can use how to for all of your headlines. You can also go to Google and just type in like headline formulas. And there's a whole bunch of different headline formulas you can use. But make sure you bring the pain and deliver the benefit in the headline. And a good test is if you didn't have anything else on this page and it was just the headline and the offer, would people still opt in?
Right.
And the reality is if they just saw these two things, I think you would still get some opt-ins.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's keep going down. So now you have what's called the body copy. This is also, by the way, pretty much the email that you could send your whole database to get them to click back and go opt in on the landing page. It's also something you even use as a boosted post on Facebook. It's all about the message. And a lot of times we find with marketing that we get so caught up in the design that the messaging isn't right. And this forces you to focus on the message.
Right, because you can reallocate the message in different places and it can bring them to the landing page. That's the point, right?
Right. So obviously you have a share image. The image can be, this is myself, obviously, actually sitting here at this desk in this suit.
Yeah.
But the image could be anything. A product, a customer, could be you. Not too concerned with that. What I'm really concerned with is the body copy, like explaining how this happens. So let me go over a few key points of the body copy here. And you can go to, by the way, thedatabasereset.com if you want to take a look at the landing page. All right. So the body copy, let's cover a few things that are key here that I think of when I write it. First is it's written first person. So it's a personal letter, remember?
Yep.
It's a personal letter from me to you.
Yeah.
Okay? I say the words you as many times as I can.
Right.
I'll literally write it and then I'll see how I can rewrite something, use the word you. The more you can use the word you in the writing, the better.
And
when
why
you first
is that,
do it,
though, Frank? I think it's important to explain that.
And when you do it, it's going to feel like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But you really want to like overdo the word you, or you'll learn, because it speaks to that person on the other side. Whereas if you say I or we, it becomes very selfish copywriting.
Right.
That's all.
Okay.
All right. As you notice, it's written as a personal letter. Just a personal message. Dear business owner, professional, I'm calling out my target market to get their attention. And you'll notice I immediately get to the point. You don't want your time wasted, do you?
No, I don't.
No. Dear business owner, professional, I want to invite you to download my ebook called The Database Reset.
Right there, first line.
So I'd recommend, that's where you usually get caught up in copywriting. It's like, what do I say to start? I would just say invite them to actually get the offer. And then you can go from there. And the whole copy is written as problem solve, where you have this problem, here's the challenges of the problem, this is what the problem's doing to you. I understand your pain, I've been there. So I created this solution, here's why I have this solution. If you want to get that solution, go ahead and put your information in. Pain, problem solve, every single direct response ad pretty much goes in that format.
Absolutely.
As you notice, in the copy, in the body copy, I really highlight benefits. Do you see here in this sentence? You're more likely to generate leads, get appointments, and make sales faster. Whenever you mention a benefit of the outcomes, always bold it. That creates a secondary reading path so people can scan and see the benefits, not reading the whole thing. And finally, as far as writing, in writing in English, you're an English major, right?
I was an English major, yeah.
And they would
surprisingly enough.
They would teach you to write in big paragraphs, right?
Well, like you're writing essays mostly, right?
4 or 6 sentences a paragraph with an intro, 4 to 6 sentences a paragraph.
Intro, outro, vetted paragraph, right?
Don't do that for internet marketing.
Yeah.
It needs to be scannable. It means that when it's run on mobile, it's already going to bunch up. Could you imagine bunching up like 4, 6 sentences on
No,
a
it
device?
would be like, you'd be like, oh, I'm not reading this.
Right. So I recommend 1, maybe 2 sentences per line of copy. So you'll see how the copy is broken up into 1 or 2 sentences per line, so it's easy to read and scan.
It's easy to read, yep.
And the bolding and the underlining, if someone were to just see that, they should get the gist of it, because the bolding and the underlining is where the eye is going to go. It creates a secondary reading path.
Yeah.
That's going to suck people into reading the full body copy. Okay? And basically what you're trying to say here, the overall message is that I feel your pain and I want to help you solve it.
Yep.
That's what you're looking for, the body copy. The form is at the bottom. I was worried that with the format of the page that, oh my gosh, the form is below the fold. Not a big deal. It sucked them in, brought them down to the bottom. You could have an email opt-in. You could have a phone number, consultation, talk with my team. Generally, the less information you ask, the better, because the more information you ask, probably the more longer that page has to be. So for example, if you were selling some $2,000 product, this would be a very long page, probably more than this here. So depending upon what you're asking for, whether it's money or contact information, is a good gauge of how much information needs to be on that page.
Yes.
Okay? And then finally, one last thing I do want to show you, because everyone accesses these pages on mobile devices these days, is on here, you can see when I bring this in, do you see how it bumps to mobile? And you can see here how that will format very nice on your mobile device, or you put the information right there at the bottom.
That looks great.
All right? So that is something anyone can set up. This is the landing page format I officially recommend. This is based upon my own observations of spending so much time trying to figure out with all these design templates, and that didn't work and that didn't work. And what I found was the real key behind this is, instead of playing around with all the design, it forces you to get to the heart of the copywriting the message.
Right.
And once you do that, it makes everything else so much easier. So that's my tip. That's how you create an effective landing page. Go ahead, do likewise, and hopefully generate some good leads for yourself, whether it's for opting in for a webinar, an ebook, it could be for a free consultation, whatever it is. That's actually one of the things that we include at Vyral Marketing, is the landing page doesn't necessarily have to be by itself. It could just be another page on a website.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
So on the websites that we build for you, our clients, we actually have lead capture pages, and we'll work with you to write the copy to really convince someone to give up their information so you can move that person further down the customer lifecycle.
And then this relates back to what we were talking about earlier about the target market as well, and making sure that you're marketing to the right people so you get that type of opt-in
Calling
response.
them out.
Yep.
So that's my tip. So that's it for our show this week. I want to thank you for watching the Vyral Marketing Show. If you have a question you'd like us to answer, we want to answer it.
Yeah.
Hashtag Vyral Marketing Show, mention Vyral Marketing on social media so we get a notification of it. Submit a video question, those take priority. And if we answer your question on the show, $25 gift card your way. I'm excited to actually eventually have them here so we can do a drawing.
Yeah.
We're also on iTunes now. We're officially launched on iTunes, so you can you can iTunes Vyral Marketing. Go iTunes Vyral Marketing.
Podcast app on your phone. It makes it real easy.
It'll show up and you can watch us there. We also post them up on our Facebook page, and it's right on the homepage of our website. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.